Today's video is made possible by the kind and generous support of my Patreon community. Well, hey friends, so glad you stopped by to hang out with me today while I get some decluttering, some organizing, some prepping and planning done for the new school year. I'm a homeschool mama, so I just have some stuff that I would like to button up from our last school year, things that I would like to start prepping and planning for our next school year. And even if you're not a homeschool parent, maybe you don't have kids, maybe you're actually in the Southern Hemisphere and you're approaching springtime, I think there's gonna be something here for everyone because of course, I'm going to be sharing some encouragement and some gentle motivation along the way. So drop this emoji in the comments, stay tuned for a fun giveaway and a chance to support a fellow teacher. Without further ado, let's get started doing some decluttering in this, well, we call it the schoolroom. If I'm being honest, it should be called the catch-all. So you'll have to let me know in the comments what spot in your house has become kind of the dumping ground. Is it a closet or a drawer or is it an entire room like we have here? This schoolroom is a bit out of the way. It's not a thoroughfare, so it's easy for us to store things in here while we're working on other projects around our fixer-upper over the past couple of years. But this year, I really want to take control of this space and to give it its exact purpose, which is to support our efforts in educating our children at home. I actually think it's next week, but certainly this month in my Back to Fall series, I'm going to be sharing with you a room makeover in this space. I have some DIY projects planned, a wall treatment. I'm gonna be building some shelves, making sort of a computer lab for our kids, and taking that next step on the journey of really making this room as functional for our family as we can make it. So today is that first step of doing the decluttering, doing a little bit of organizing, some inventory. Along the way, I know I'm going to not only find things that I need to donate, like my kids have outgrown, I'm already thinking of Play-Doh, kinetic sand. My kids don't really play with that anymore. We've kind of moved on to slime. It's actually an outdoor activity for us. And so I can consolidate that drawer. Decluttering is not one and done. It's a maintenance sort of activity. I get questions all the time like, how do you still have stuff to declutter? The very simple answer is my kids are still growing and they're still changing. It's like saying, you just cleaned your toilet last week. Why are you doing it again? Because it's one of those maintenance tasks that needs to be done. And yes, along the way, we have altered our spending habits and like the back to school shopping, case in point. I'm not just, like I used to do, arbitrarily walking down the back to school aisles and filling my cart with 99-cent pencils and every school supply under the sun just because it's on sale or someone else told me that I need it. The way I purchase things and go about acquiring things has really changed over the years, and I am so much less weighed down by random things nowadays than I used to be, and it has made such a difference for the school year. And as you can see, I don't have like fancy organizers or even like Cricut labels or anything for what I've got here. It's literally Ziploc bags with random things in them, and it works for us. It's not Pinterest worthy. I would like to get Cricut labels on these drawers. I literally just have like these little Avery mailing labels with things written on them so that we could keep track of what was in these drawers. When I start a new organizing system that requires labels, I don't want to do like the nice, more expensive, more time-consuming, pretty labels until I know that this system works. And now, this year, I know this system works. So when we do renovate this room, I think I will be busting out the Cricut and making the nice labels for these drawers because, I mean, they're falling apart. Like, they look janky and awful. But they worked for us this long, so. A lot of what I declutter out of our schoolroom on a regular basis are papers. And I know paper can be something that's a frustrating area to try to figure out how to manage it and declutter. I actually did a video a couple of years ago going through my process of how I manage paper clutter in my house. So if you want to hear more about our system and our approach to paper clutter, then definitely go watch that video next. I share more details about that. But something that has really helped both in our last house and in this one is to have a designated spot for paper that is kind of in a halfway zone. Maybe it's a drawing that was fun to make, but it's not like fridge worthy. They don't really care to like keep it for any sort of sentimental reason, but they're not ready to just toss it and throw it away. We try to give paper in our house at least 2 lives, and so that sort of thing ends up in this bottom drawer. And then once a quarter, a couple times a year, we will go through it. We'll find the things that are actually like, oh, you know what, I do want to keep that. So we'll put this in a memory box. Some things that it's like, okay, there's one scribble on the page, so this can either get recycled or used again for something else. Or those random things that maybe it was like a school page that accidentally ended up in there. I did find a couple of those things this time around that I actually needed to file. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But having this sort of halfway house system for the paper that my kids use on a daily basis has really helped, and it's a nice thing to be able to just go through, process. My kids get the final say on the pile of stuff that I think needs to be recycled. If there's something in there that they go, oh no, I really actually want to keep this or keep working on this, then they get to put it in their own little drawer and use it again. Repeat after me. It gets worse before it gets better. Oh my gosh. So first of all, I have a pile over here of some stuff that my kids will not be using probably ever again, which kind of makes me sad, but I'm not gonna let myself get too sentimental. We're past the dry erase tracing and stuff like this, and we have lots of little cousins or friends who are in like lower grades. These will find a good home, and then there's other stuff that's just like sketchbooks that have been completely drawn through. I've got lots of little like color pages and scrap pages and stuff that we can't really use for anything else, and these things are kind of at the end of their lives. So I'll let the kids go through these as well, just to make sure that I'm not tossing anything that they're attached to. And then I also have this pile. These are things that I've printed out as like extra activities or supplemental pages with the curriculum that we already do. And maybe we like only got a little bit of the way through it, or maybe it's like completely blank and we can still work on it. So I'll be putting that into a little file so that we can pull from throughout the next school year if we need some extra practice and stuff like that. And then I have this pile over here of stuff that I need to file as something that I want to give as an example of what we did during the school year. I write their names at the top of the pages that they do, and then their stuff goes into their coordinating file. I actually have a file box over there that I'm going to be putting the 22-23 school year stuff into. Actually, when it comes to compliance and requirements and regulations and stuff like that for homeschooling, I get a lot of questions from you guys about that. And so I'm gonna direct you to a link in my description box. It's HSLDA, their website. It's run by lawyers, attorneys, people it's like literally their entire job to equip and also defend and advocate for homeschoolers in the US. And they have all of the information per state broken down as far as what you need to do, what the compulsory age is, end of the school year testing versus at-home assessments. And I actually pay for a membership with them, and it's been incredibly helpful to have someone, an attorney that I can email and get actual legal advice from. I ran into that when it comes to like end of the school year testing, and without getting too personal, because I really do want to protect my kids and not talk too much about like individual needs and issues that we deal with. I knew that for a specific situation, standardized testing was not a good fit for our family. I'll just leave it at that. And so I actually found out that I can do an at-home, or actually now a virtual assessment, and that complies with the requirements for our state. So we actually have our virtual assessment happening tomorrow for the last school year, and that's on my to-do list that I've got. I think my laptop died. I need to plug it in. Yeah, HSLDA has been an incredible resource, and whenever I get messages from you guys, I always direct you to that website because I can't personally offer legal advice or even advice to someone who's not even in the same state as I am, but that has all of the information and then people that you can reach out to if you have follow-up questions or whatever. So speaking of compliance and filing, I think that's what I'm gonna work on right now. I would really like to get past that. And that's also gonna help us with our at-home assessment that's happening tomorrow, because having all of the examples of the things that we tangibly did, I mean, there's a lot of learning that we do that's not necessarily like on paper, but like on nature walks and on trips that we take and stuff like that. But like the actual physical stuff that I can show, I'm gonna be putting into our little file box that will be stored probably in my office. And now that the boys, this was the first year that they were compulsory age, so this is the first year that I needed to declare the intent to homeschool with our county school office, and then also have the at-home assessment. Haley's too young for all of that. It starts when they're 8 years old. So this box, the at-home assessment, that's all really for the boys. But she will be that age right around the corner, and I'll have a couple of years under my belt of going through these steps in order to remain compliant so that we can have that freedom to homeschool. So I'm gonna start filing away the old stuff, the tests that we've taken, the activity pages and stuff that we've worked on, and then I can keep doing some other little decluttering through the drawers that we have here. There's not much to do with these because honestly, I kind of kept up with it throughout the school year, and probably every 2 or 3 months would go through everything, so it's not too bad. The filing is probably the bigger declutter that I need to do right now. So as I was doing this filing and further decluttering, I was really thinking a lot about fellow teachers, whether they're in a traditional school, public, private, charter, whatever, or other homeschool parents who are working right now to prepare for the new school year. And I have such a heart for fellow educators, and I want to share that with you all and to open up an opportunity to support some really amazing teachers out there. So I'm so excited to share that for every video I post in my Back to Fall series this year, I will be featuring a teacher that we can all rally around and support. These teachers come from all sorts of different demographics, experiences, walks of life. Some are new teachers, some are super experienced veteran teachers, and they're all going to be sharing their own virtual wish lists that we can contribute to or purchase items from for them to help support them as they kick off this next school year. This week's teacher story really warmed my heart, and as I was working through this project, I was praying over this person. You can find out more about them in the description box. I'll do a little introduction for them down there. I will link their Amazon teachers wish list. I would love it so much if you would join me in helping support them if you can, surrounding them, loving on them, and of course, keeping them in our prayers, holding them in our hearts as together we all start this new season.
There are days when we all feel like we're messed up, but we know that we're all diamonds in the rough. In spite of all, we are all we got.
Okay, progress has been made. I've got stuff filed for last year. That alone is huge. I have quite the pile over here full of recyclable. Honestly, I'm going to be just making a bin with scrap paper in it because I use that as fire starters because we have a wood stove. I pulled out things that I can pass on to my sisters or my nieces and nephews. There are some things in here obviously that can't be used as fire starters, and I'm not going to pass on. This is a tablet. Our kids don't really use tablets anymore, and this one is completely dead, so I'm not even going to bother donating it. That is going to be tossed. So I still need to go through this like decluttered pile and sort things out. And now I'm going to work in this unit that I have here. I've been using it to hold like activity sets, and we've got like this little woodland thing. A lot of these activity sets and stuff, I'm not really buying them for my kids. A lot of these have actually come from grandma's, which I love that. Like this microscope. Love this. The kids love it. But I didn't premeditate where this would be stored because I wasn't the one making the purchase. And so I have just kind of shoved that sort of thing in here. And I would like to be much more intentional about how we store it, where we store it, what's even being stored in here. Oh, there's that Good and Beautiful Math 1 kit. I also know where the book for this is, and this is what Haley's going to be doing in this next year. I'm glad I found that. Okay, I was feeling a little burnt out with the decluttering. I'm taking a break. I'm so close to being done. It's actually just kind of those final steps of getting stuff into their categories, moving on from donations and recyclable and stuff like that. But I think I'm also having decision fatigue. Maybe it's actually just fatigue. I realized I missed lunch. I made it for the kids. I just kept going through my decluttering, and a lesson I have learned is don't declutter and organize on an empty stomach. So I freshened up my coffee. I have a decaf dirty chai. I have a couple of waffles with some homemade raspberry jam and some organic peanut butter. How millennial of me. Actually, if it was avocado toast, it'd be very millennial of me. Anyway, I'm just gonna take a little break from the decluttering. I have been making this list of some of the school supplies and stuff that we need, and I just wanted to share with you some of the lists and the goals that I've been making. This is not an elegant system by any means. I just have it here on my computer. I just use the Notes app. I used to use the Good Notes app and like handwrite notes on my iPad. But it's not working as well as it used to. My iPad's kind of old, and I've just kind of converted to just using notes and keeping track of stuff that way. You guys know me, I don't break things down into super itemized, have just like macro ideas, big picture stuff, larger categories for things, and then I just go from there. So I wanted to share with you some of my pre-fall, pre-autumn goals. I have broken these down into school, so like homeschooling, garden/outdoor tasks that I'd like to get done, home things, and then also some goals and things that I have for us as a family. So since we're on the subject of homeschooling, since I've been decluttering in that room, here are my goals that I would like to accomplish before autumn or before the school year actually starts. First of all, I want to do that schoolroom makeover, that house to home video episode, and really put together a computer lab. Some of the stuff that we do for school and for fun is on the computer, and the kids have just been using my laptop, so that is at the top of the list. Next up, I have something that I actually accomplished this morning before I started filming, and that was order our curriculum for this year. That's done. I can check that off the list. That virtual assessment for the boys is happening tomorrow. I need to file my intent to homeschool letter with our public school district. And then today I can check off I decluttered the schoolroom and I filed away this last year's work. 3 checklists, and then also tomorrow with the virtual assessment as the 4th thing I can check off. Those are huge wins, and I feel so much better. And then really quickly, like my outdoor garden plans that I have a garden bed that I want to build and plant with some cold weather crops. And that still needs to be done. I need to order bulbs, and then Weston and I are going to be working on getting our firewood sort of organized. We have some rounds that we need to buck up, so that's on the to-do list. We love having our wood stove. And speaking of wood stove, so this is now in the home category. We want to get our brick behind the fireplace. We would like to get that brick done before that stove is heated up and we start burning for the colder season. So that's kind of in the pre-fall to-do list. I would like to get my hostess ware and also some of my like dining ware, serveware gone through, organized. I have some new things that I've upgraded to that I would like to swap out. So I need to go through that. Maybe that will be in a back to fall video for you guys. I'd like to make a storm kit with lanterns, backup batteries. I'd like to get sort of a charging station with a solar panel on it and some other stuff. We have lots of storms in the fall and winter time. And while I do have some of that stuff already, it would be nice to be able to just kind of complete that storm kit. Also on this, I want to start preserving some things that I'm harvesting out of my garden. I want to learn more about canning. We're considering getting a freeze dryer. So these are all things that I want to start in on. And then for our family, at the top of my list, I have fix laundry routine. Oh, you guys, laundry is the bane of my existence. It has gotten better over the last few years because I have pared down our collection of textiles and clothing and towels and stuff like that, but it's still not great and I don't have an actual like this is what I do sort of routine, and I think I'd like to start implementing more of a routine for our household laundry. Next on this list, I have Weston and Natalie start Bible study. We're still looking for one, but we wanted to start a Bible study together, and we'll probably do so here this month. And then the last thing I have here is start holiday hosting plans. Now, before you get your feathers in a bunch, no one's rushing the holiday season here. Much like this back to fall idea, which I was doing this before I ever made videos about it, but on my channel for the past several years, I've shared these things that I go through in the month of August and in early September in preparation for the autumn season. And there are things that I do before the holiday season in preparation because I have quite a bit of responsibility in the holiday season, which I have asked for. I'm fine with it. I'm not put upon. It gives me so much life to host people and to open up my home and to show hospitality and to cook for people. And we have people over to our house weekly. I love it so much. And especially when football season starts back up in the fall time, we're gonna have people over probably every Sunday, maybe on Thursday or Monday nights too. Weston and I both, it's not just me, we both love it so much. And the holiday hosting is big. There's a lot. So coordinating with my mom because she also hosts things, coordinating with my sisters, and starting to get the ball rolling without putting pressure on anyone is really helpful when I start to think like, what does Thanksgiving look like this year? What does it look like with the ministry commitments that we have? Weston and I both serve in multiple ministries at our church, and so it's nice to start to think about what it's gonna look like, and starting now helps me not do what I tend to do with my ADHD brain, which is procrastinate and wait until the very last minute, and then I'm a complete ball of stress. Don't let what I've got going on here put any sort of pressure on you if you're just like, dude, not ready to think about that yet. That's totally fine. But this is what's on my list. And also I'm gonna stop chatting and I'm actually going to eat my lunch here. I'm going to be working on this like back to school shopping list. I have some more things that I need to add to it. So I'm gonna work on that right now. Once I have this eaten, this list made, then I'm going to give you the final little tour of the organization and the decluttering that I did in the schoolroom today. So as I eat my food, drink my coffee, and make goofy faces at my computer screen, I just wanted to take this opportunity to direct your attention to the description box where you can find all the details for how to enter this video's giveaway. This is just a fun way for me to be able to give back to you guys, and thank you so much for all the love and support here on my channel and for joining me for this Back to Fall series. Stacy, my name is Natalie. I have two students who I am filling out an intent to homeschool form, and I'm wondering if there's an email address that I can forward this form to. Huh? Okay, thank you so much, I appreciate it. All right, you too, bye-bye. In addition to devouring my waffles, I also was able to send our declaration of intent to homeschool. So guess what else I can check off my to-do list? Intent to homeschool. So all I have left to get ready for school for them is the virtual assessment tomorrow, the schoolroom makeover, and I'm going to add to this list at school supplies, which some of those school supplies I might actually be getting from my mom. She is in the process of Swedish death cleaning. And oh my goodness, am I so proud of her. No, it is not just physically demanding, but also emotionally demanding to go through everything you own. Oh my gosh, been there, done that. And she said that when she gets to like office supplies and stuff, she has some things from when my grandparents passed away. Then some of her own stuff like school supplies, maybe even stuff from when I was her student. She was my homeschool teacher. And then also like craft supplies and fun stuff like that. So I think I have a messy to minimal at my mom's house episode coming in this back to fall series. She called me up one day and she's like, hey, do you need content? Because I'm decluttering. I'm like, dude, I would love to help, whether I'm like filming a video about it or not. But it's cool that I might be able to share some of that with you guys. So before I go out and buy stuff, I want to look through what she has first, because my grandparents, they ran their own businesses. And so I know that they have a lot of like that sort of office supply stuff that I probably don't even need to bother to order. And I'm so grateful. How cool is that? So, feeling very accomplished. This room is still a bit messy. I still have to make my way through the decluttering pile and just like get it fully out of here. But I'm ready to show you how everything has ended up, a little bit of the organization, as non-Pinterest worthy as it is, and kind of what we were able to accomplish today. Start with the IKEA drawers. We have mom's drawer with some supplies in it. We have our glue and tools, definitely need more glue. We've got our bits and bobs, craft supplies, beading, stickers, etc. Candle making drawer, we do beeswax candles all the time. I love to make those. We have our paint supply drawer there. Then I kind of revamped what is in these drawers. We might not even need this anymore. We don't have many dry erase supplies. This used to be the dry erase drawer. Might still be, we'll see how this year goes. We love coloring. We have actually some like adult coloring books and fun stuff like that, along with like, you know, Minecraft dungeons and Bluey. Stuff like that. So copy paper goes in here. I did have a separate drawer last year for colored paper, but I realized that our paper actually fits this way. So we can do white paper in the front, colored paper in the back. We've got sketchbooks, paper crafts, different stuff like that, paper dolls in here. This is that projects drawer where we throw paper, little projects and completed coloring and stuff like that that we want to hold on to for a little while. I've got an empty drawer here. This is like our flashcards drawer. Manipulative. So we have like word building blocks. We have these little spinners that we've had forever. Shoe tying practice and stuff like that. We have the different boxes for the good and beautiful math sets. We have this tangram. This is really fun. My kids love this. It's also an empty drawer. This is where the kids keep their Osmo set up that they use with my iPad. Lots of fun little interactive sort of STEAM or STEM games with that. This is like our basic pencils, pens, color crayons, dry erase markers, stuff like that. Some sensory items that we use, little chewy things. And then we have this drawer, which is for history. Oh, that's where that went. This actually belongs in that drawer. This will be our history drawer. I just have a couple random things in here. When I find a good history curriculum, that's where that will live. This is our science unit drawer. And then this is like the big file that has our curriculum that we're making our way through for the year. We've got some like extra, this is a little bit too advanced for them right now, but I'm holding on to it. And then we have just some like extra workbooks and stuff like that broken down by subject. This cabinet turned out pretty good. And this is one of those things that I'll just continue to refine as I go. So we have all of these curriculum books. We've got some of these. I love these. They're a magic ink practice pad for like handwriting, numbers, all sorts of stuff. And on my list to buy, I need to buy new pens for it. As we've run out of that magic ink, the ink fades. So you can just keep using these practice pads. So then on the lower shelf, we have like learning to read stuff, our microscope, this little activity set, our felt charts and fun stuff like that, some books from Mama. I am feeling so much better. It feels so good to look over and see this file box with the kids' school in it. It is nice for me to take the chaos and the pile and the scraps and bits and pieces and sort of consolidate it all into a box that has the year written on it, can be filed away, and give us a fresh start for the new school year. This is the beauty of the preparation that I do for the new school year, because not only does it help me for the new school year, but it helps me enjoy the last part of the summer. And I am ready to get out in the garden. I see some red tomatoes out there that are ready to harvest. I've got all sorts of peas. I've got a zucchini ready. It's still really nice and warm outside. We're gonna go enjoy this summer day, but I'm feeling so much farther along the path of the things that I would like to get done before the summer is over. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today and working with me. If you got up and you did some decluttering along with this video, I hope you got some motivation to tackle something that you are working on around your house. Maybe it's a homeschool room and you're getting ready for the new school year. Maybe you're doing your own version of Swedish death cleaning like my mother is right now. Whatever it is, we're all in this together. And I just want to thank you so much for spending a little part of your day here with me on my channel. God bless you, and I'll catch you later.